Hi, and good morning to another episode of Wake Up Well. It is Wednesday, the 18th of November, and this week we're looking at sort of the environment and sustainability, especially in the environment, and what Scripture teaches us about creation and God's relationship to it, and how we as followers of Jesus are to relate to the environment as well. So I just want to read a couple of passages from a really lovely Psalm, Psalm 104. And it really goes into great detail of how God sustains his creation, sustains his world. So let me read and just draw out a couple of thoughts. So this is Psalm 104, verses 10 to 13. You make springs gush forth in the valleys. They flow between the hills. They give drink to every beast and creature of the field. The wild donkeys quench their thirst. By them the birds of the air have their habitation. They sing among the branches. From your lofty abode thou waterest the mountains. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of your work. Really beautiful sort of descriptions of how God makes things happen in creation. I love that thought of the Creator sort of taking great delight in nourishing, the wild donkeys, for example. And it's always interesting when they specify certain animals. We always sort of take notice in Scripture when we see a number. Numbers are very important in Scripture, but I also like to look for the little kind of details. And why wild donkeys? Well, if you think about the sort of situation that the children of Israel were at the time. This is a very sort of hot part of the world, dry and dusty, and donkeys probably were not very well regarded in that sense. They were sort of the work animals that worked in the fields and on the farms. If you call someone a donkey, they're usually not that intelligent. But what I love is this thought is that they are almost the most stupid of creatures, but yet they are provided for by God, the Creator, looking after his creation. And this whole essence of sustaining life as the King of Kings and the Creator of the heavens and of this world and of this creation. So what is that sort of application for us? Well, I think it is a key part of our discipleship not to disregard the environment in any way, shape or form. We know that God, the Creator, is heavily invested, and we see in these passages that he calls things forth. He calls springs to come forth from the earth, to give drink to every beast, to allow the birds of the air to have their homes and to nest and to sing. I really love that thought of singing through the branches, that God delights in that God is divinely interested in the sort of the minutiae of his creation. And I'm not saying that we have to be exactly on par with God, because we're never going to be that on par. But I think as part of our discipleship, as part of our continuing relationship with God the Father and God the Creator, that we are supposed to look after this earth. We are supposed to do our utmost, even if we think it's the smallest part, or we might even think, what difference would this even make, compared to, corporations and industry across the world that pumps, vast pollution into the skies and into the oceans. But I think it's more about a heart sort of choice here. We might say, it might be flippant and say, well, it'll never make a difference. But actually, in relationship, we come before the Father and say, well, God, if this is something that you're interested in, then as your son and as your daughter, then I'm interested in it too. And that's just a really simple thought, but I hope it encourages you today. Bless you all, and see you again soon.